Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video to do my final episode review of Attack on Titan. This is the special part 2 thing. All that marketing mouthful that they did. This is English dub review. So, they went with well, first and foremost, just make sure that, yes, there are spoilers because this did air last night on Toonami. So this is your final warning. But they went with a flat ending. Um, but with the way they decided to go in the direction, changing the direction of the way I would have wanted them to go, this was probably the best way that they could have ended the series under the circumstances. And yeah, it was what it was. The ending was, like I said, a very flat ending. Um, it was okay for what it was. They made the most of it. They did the little kind of sort of happy ending, but not really type thing. They, they tried to do like, because there's really no happy ending you can do with the way they went about this ending, because the ending was horribly flat because of the direction they went with Eren. But they tried their best to kind of put in some type of ending that would be sort of happy for the characters. But at the same time, we're talking about destruction of like the world and the human population in this series, so not exactly not exactly the way I would have gone about it. Um well, I wouldn't have done half the stuff they did leading up to it. But anyways, so okay. So the episode starts with they go right into it. They're starting to, fight these different titans because they're trying to stop the rumbling. There's a bunch of fights going on. Rhina, gets decapitated. Well, his titan form gets decapitated. He's still alive, but you get the point. Uh, um, the cart titan. The cart titan gets taken out. We do find out later that she can just keep multiplying as long as she doesn't get wounded with the titan forms. So that stuff going on. Armin gets trapped by one of the titans, one of the silver titans, but it's not Eren's. This is the doing of the Amir. Um, so that stuff's going on. Um, uh, Falco, his Titan form, because he had a Titan, ability. He now manifests his Titan to be able to fly. Um, and he was then able to save all the remaining heroes: Rhina, Mikasa, Connie, Armin, from dying by using his new flying Titan form. Annie's there as well. Annie talks about how when she was trying to leave, they blew up the ship or whatever. So now Annie's involved as well. Um, there's also the Marley, the Eldians are using guns. The Marleys are using guns. They're about to about to kill each other off again, because there's a big conflict about that. Um, Annie basically tells Mikasa the reality that Eren must die. Um, and and so that's the reality. They gotta kill Eren, and it has to be Mikasa. Mikasa is the one that has to do it. Um, Again, Levi is all wounded as well. I mean, he ends up being blind in one eye, and he also has wounded in his leg or whatever. They basically set out the plan to basically then fight the Titan, these Silver Titans or whatever. Meanwhile, Armin is like in the mouth of this one Titan, and like there's like his inner self is basically telling himself who's defeated and whatnot that you have to keep going, you got to keep fighting, and whatnot. So that's all going on. Again, Armin, Titan's mouth. Annie and Mikasa team up to try and basically take the Titan out that has Armin in him, so they can free him. Uh, it's not working at first, but eventually, with the teaming up and using her Titan form, Annie's Titan form, they eventually are able to get in there and defeat that Titan and get Armin out. There is before that there is this whole scene with him and Zeke, with seeing that Armin has like a leaf or whatever, but in his vision it's a baseball. Talking about why he did what he did, and talks about the origins of Amir, the founder of Amir, and how she's basically doing this to basically she's doing this to basically um uh you know stand by the person, the king or whatever, even though she like was tortured by him. Kind of a weird situation to be in. um but nonetheless, um she's in a situation um with trying to fend him off, and they get him out. So they get him out of the mouth because they defeat that Titan. That put him in his mouth. Because again, this was Amir that was doing this. Amir chose Eren because he liked his plan better, I guess. Um, so what ends up happening is that Zeke, he, you know, what's the word? Like he like manifests once he sees Armin. He manifests into like someone in the real world again. and he gets all the past, I guess, Titan special wheelers, like Bartol and all those other guys, and they basically help out, and that's how Armin kind of gets free in a way with the help of Annie and Mikasa. And however, after Zeke shows himself to pretty much everybody in the real world, including Levi, Levi gets bold eyes, and then Levi immediately kills Zeke instantly. He just doesn't care if he's helping out. So yeah, then Zeke's dead. Um, then after that, Eren basically uses the remaining people that are Eldians who had just like kind of formed an alliance with the Marleys now to be fine with them. Eren uses the last of the Rumblings to basically turn them into Titans, including their friends as well that aren't special Titans. Um, so they become Titans. The parents, the friends, the families, they're all Titans, and they got to fend them off. Meanwhile, Mikasa goes through like a mental breakdown of like having a dream of being with Eren, and them living happily ever after or whatever. Um, but in reality, while this is going on, she is basically going up to him and killing him, and then really they show like a vision of Mikasa, in the dream, though Eren's like all beat up with the marks and stuff like that. They show that, and basically they show that, and it's basically Mikasa kissing Eren. And also, this was led to the rumblings were mainly led to the bombs that they used on Eren, but they didn't work, and so when he came back, he did the rumblings, to get their friends and family on the into the Titan forms. So there was this big emotional kiss between Mikasa and now a decapitated Eren head, since Eren was basically dead at this point now. And so that's how Eren meets his end. And they have that kind of moment with Mikasa getting the kiss with her love. After he's dead, they show like a flashback, or I don't know if it's considered a prequel or if this was just like a vision at that moment. But Eren and Armin, talk, and they talk about like basically why he did what he did. Doesn't justify anything of what Eren is talking about. And they talk about how, he wanted to be with Mikasa, but he can't be. And then there's this kind of like, I guess, weird laughing joke by Armin saying that, there's somebody for her, which I think Armin wasn't implying himself, or he wasn't implying really anybody. He was just trying to make, I guess, Eren mad. But he then starts crying and gets emotional, and then he talks about how he's responsible for the population being destroyed, and then you see all the blood in the water. It's a very emotional scene for anybody, and I just Eren apparently had spoken to everybody that he knew, that he was close to, not just Armin that came out afterwards, though we didn't get to see that. We only got to see the one that was with Armin, the conversation with Armin, and he then brings it up with everybody, and everyone had said the same thing of why he did what he did. And it was to try and help them and the island uh, of freedom, but at the same time, he destroyed people, and it was really it was really just one of those situations where like what like I said, it was not the best ending they could have done, but at the same time, it was really the only ending they could have done because of the direction they went with the series. Um, so yeah, like I said, a pretty flat one. And then you see a scene where the Eldians and the Marleys, like the Marleys, are now like putting guns at the the Eldians, and they say we're not Titans anymore, and they basically say you got to prove it right now. You have to prove it right now, because they're not Titans anymore. So Mikasa takes Armin's head, by the way, and he's like, I have to give him a proper burial because they won't. So she takes him away, and then Armin basically talks about how he's from the island to these Marleys, and basically says that he's the one who takes out Eren, even though we all know it's Mikasa. For the history books, Armin takes the credit, but actually it's probably a good thing because I don't think Mikasa wants the credit for it because she didn't want to kill him in the first place. So Armin takes the credit, and then everybody else, talks about how they helped take him out, even though it was kind of obvious they should know that they took him out. So then we get the whole thing with 3 years into the future, and we see Mikasa, and she basically is back on the island. They form like some new, I guess, nation in the island. But Mikasa's there, and she buries Eren. I think she's the only one who knows about it. I don't know. I don't know if the island knows about it or anything, but he buries Eren there with Tombstone. And there's this like touching, like there's like this bird scene where the bird like tightens Mikasa's scarf or whatever. So there was that stuff going on. And again, 3 years into the future, we see all of the heroes, I guess, that took out Eren, who were on the mainland for 3 years, and they finally go back to the island to basically talk about why they did what they did, and they're kind of scared that they're going to get killed or anything like that. But they have to explain it to everybody. I don't know if they end up getting killed or not because they never really kind of show that. There is no like thing with Armin and Annie, by the way, because I know a lot of people wanted them to get together, but there was they showed some ship kind of moments like in the last episode, but they didn't really do that much here with this one, other than her being like holding him like on her Titan hand or whatever, after she like rescued him from that Titan mouth. But they don't really show anything else for them, so that's going to all be led to a mystery because, again, they really focused on a ship that never will actually happen now, and that's between Eren and Mikasa, because Mikasa clearly never gets over Eren. And they actually, at first, I didn't know what that I didn't know what the body was with the flowers, but actually that was Mikasa. That was Mikasa in the flowers, and I don't know if she's like buried like right next to Eren or where she actually was buried, since it seems like based on the way they go about this into the future type stuff is that she just never stopped, like, looking at him or going to his tombstone. Nobody ever like figures out if she ever like kind of gets past him. She never, and based on the way it's interpreted to me, she never gets over him. Like she, like I was like saying this, like she lived her life, like because she got like the rest of her life or whatever, even though she wasn't a Titan anyway, so she would have probably lived longer anyways. But she lived her life not getting over Eren, not getting over Eren, and she died, um, which kind of sucks that she never kind of, found happiness. She never did. She never did because she was mourning the rest of her life about it. And I was saying, like, that's just kind of sad, really, actually. Um, but then I guess there was like somebody were telling me that there was even a further time skip after the 3 years, and that was basically what they show kind of in the ending credits, which they show the trees. Um, they basically show the tree, which is basically, where the tombstone was. So a tree just grew right where the tombstone and Eren was. Um, and I guess this was supposed to be implied to be 100 years into the future. And they show credits of like bombs, like just like destroying the island or whatever. Um, and there were some really bad like scenes too that they showed too. That some people that I've seen on Twitter was like, I'm not gonna talk about, but you guys can figure out what they were, what they were kind of doing there. I was not kind of happy about that when people explained that to me. Um, but so so there's a war, I guess, like 100 years in the future, and they take over the island, and then they show like some guy with like I guess a kid, I guess, with a dog, and he goes into the tree, which is where Aaron's tombstone was. Um, it had now been grown in a tree. I don't know if the tombstone is inside the tree because there's like a little mini cave, I guess, in the tree. So it's like kind of like this, I don't know, it's kind of like a deco tree type thing. I don't know, because it's huge. It's a huge tree. I mean, it's been 100 years, so a tree doesn't grow that quick. So it being 100 years does make sense because trees getting that big would take a long time. So I guess they're implying that the tree, I guess, is like a shrine for Eren, or the tree is Eren, even though like earlier they showed him like I guess as a bird. You know, I thought Eren was supposed to be in hell. Um, right? I mean, that's what they said. They even said it that he was supposed to be in hell. But apparently, he was a bird, and now he's a tree, and other things. Um, so yeah, I guess it's implied, I guess, that him going into the tree is going to start it up again with the Titans. I'm not exactly sure how that works. Um, I also should, I guess I forgot also, too, that there was also, all the soldiers that died, as well as Amir actually showed up like as spirits and there was emotional with the soldiers. Mikasa was just kind of like whatever with the founder of Amir, but they do show that kind of stuff too. It was kind of like a Star Wars type thing where they show like the spirits and stuff like that at the end or whatever. Um, that was another thing that I forgot to talk about. But yeah, what are my overall thoughts? Um, it was the best ending they could have given because of the way they decided to kind of write the latter half of this series. Not exactly the way I would have wanted it to have gone. I just not a fan of that. I just not a fan of, the war and destruction and stuff like that they ended up doing. Because again, in the end, war ended up happening again. I mean, yeah, it took 100 years, but they at the end of the day, did anything get resolved in this series? No, it did not. And here's why I say that. And some people might disagree with me, but at the end of the day, did anything get resolved? Was there any resolve from the them not being Titans anymore? No, because people still hated them. People were still hated even when they weren't Titans anymore. Okay? They wouldn't believe them, even though they witnessed it. At the end of the day, was anything resolved? No. The resolve never ended. They never ended the resolve. There was never any ending resolve. There was still conflict. The islanders still were resenting the mainland, even though they were still around for another 100 years before their government collapsed, their new government that they had. I also forgot to mention Historia, too. Historia did, they showed her kid as well. They briefly kind of showed the husband, not really. He had, brown hair or something, but we couldn't really see who it was. And they do talk about her. And she is also, I don't know exactly, what her role is in the government, whether she's a queen still there or not. They do kind of show her negotiating with some of the leaders on the mainland, and she's wearing that, the new government, thing or whatever. So I'm assuming she's still a queen. But, she's more of a figurehead queen, but she's still negotiating though, for them on their behalf. So there was still something going on with that as well with Historia. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, what was accomplished? What was accomplished with everybody? Oh yeah, there's no more Titans, but they all still hate each other. They all still are not happy with each other. So in the end of the day, nothing got accomplished. So it wasn't even a Code Geass type thing, because a lot of people compare these endings to Code Geass in the direction they went into. Code Geass, the conflict ended. There was no more conflict. Okay? He created himself as the hatred of the world, right? Lush made himself the hatred of the world, and then everybody was now freed, and there was no more, conflict. There was no more conflict. In terms of the world not liking each other. So, in the end of the day, they did not accomplish that in Attack on Titan. So, what they tried to accomplish in the story was failed. So, like I said, I don't think this was a very good ending, but it was really the only thing they could do at this point. Like I said, it was kind of a weird ending because they were trying to have some type of happy sort of ending, which you really can't because of the destruction that happened. But at the same time, they were also talking about the conflicts and stuff like that were still going on going forward. So that's where I'm kind of at with this one. I didn't really like this ending. I didn't really like the approach at all. And it just felt like a middleman. It felt like a middleman mixture thing they tried to do. But yeah, that was my review. Let me know what you guys think. What did you guys think about it? Do you guys like it? Do you guys not like it? Let me know. Comment, rate, subscribe, hit the notification bell for all these contents. Thank you. And that is about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Goku and Moderator. Peace. Also, make sure YouTube channel. Subscribe, Yes Ultimate Goku. Follow me on the Twitch, Yes Ultimate Goku. Instagram, the Yes Ultimate Goku. I do have a Discord link in the description where we talk about AEW, WWE, NFL, live action movies, live action series, anime dubs, cartoons, all that good stuff. So make sure to go there and check it out. And now I'm out. Peace.